Cabin crew, prepare for landing, thank you.
When I stepped off the plane in Cusco, Peru, I thought to myself, oh no. I was exhausted, I wasn't feeling well, I was stressed out about the trip and the hiking itinerary. For the first time in, I don't know, forever, I had arrived in a foreign country where I didn't speak the language all by myself. I've done scary things before in my life, but I wasn't prepared for the amount of uncertainty that I felt when I landed in Peru. I actually think that's why I like leading group trips so much, because I don't necessarily like to travel alone. That moment at the Cusco airport got me really thinking about what I do to make sure that my trips are safe if I'm solo, or if I'm with a group of friends, or if I'm with my family. Today I'm sharing my tips for safe solo travel. Let's start with the do's. First, do some prep work. It doesn't have to be hard, I promise. Before every international trip, I create a Google folder. In that folder, I put copies of passports, visa, vaccination cards, my itinerary, health insurance information, a copy of my driver's license, a copy of my credit card, and anything else that I think is important. I share the link to that folder with my husband, so if something happens and I lose my bag or I get robbed, all I need to do is get on a call with him or get to an embassy or get online, and I can access just about everything that I need to get help. For me, the more prepared that I am for the unexpected, the easier it is for me to be confident. And not just to be confident, but to feel confident. Sometimes I think that confidence is really a feeling. If I have a plan and if I know where to find things, then I have no reason to fear the unexpected. Next, always trust your gut. On one of my travels this year, I sat next to a really nice guy on the plane, but he was really interested in who I was, where I was going, what I was doing, what I do for a living, where I live, what my husband does for a living, what sports my children play. And he just kept peppering me with all of these questions. And as our conversation became more one-sided and less of a conversation and started to feel a little bit like an interrogation, my gut started to tell me that something wasn't right. And some red flags were shooting up in the sky. Usually I have no problem talking to strangers. I mean, I do that for a living. But I couldn't figure out how to end the conversation, and we had a long flight ahead of us. So I excused myself to go to the restroom, and then when I came back, I quickly put my headphones on before he could strike up another conversation, and I gave him a visual clue that I was just done with that conversation. So this wasn't necessarily a traveling solo thing, but just a good reminder to trust our gut. Our gut is never going to lead us astray. Our bodies always send us signals when something isn't right, but we just have to be able to tune in and listen to those signals. Next, know that your plans will change. My family was traveling in Ireland a few weeks ago, and I had a very specific, very detailed itinerary. It wasn't action-packed, but we didn't rent a car because my husband and I hate driving in Ireland, and we thought it would be fun for our children to travel by train, bus, and taxi. So on our travel days, my husband and I knew exactly where we needed to go to get from one town to the next town. But what we weren't planning on, one of those travel days, was for the first train of the day to have mechanical issues and put us 2 hours behind schedule. This caused us to miss the next train, and by the time we finally got on the final train of the day, it was a 2-hour train ride and there weren't any seats left, so we had to stand up the entire ride. Now, I was with my family and we were all together, so it was really okay and really not that big of a deal. But when I'm not traveling with my family or a group, and little things like flight delays and train delays happen, it can really derail me. Recognizing that even the best plans don't go as planned is a really important thing to accept on any adventure. Don't travel solo if you aren't confident. It's kind of like running a marathon. You wouldn't just jump right into running a full marathon without running 5K, maybe a 10K, maybe a 15K. Like, you build up to running a marathon. And when it comes to big solo international adventures, you're just not going to have a lot of fun if you don't do smaller things to build yourself up to feeling confident. You know, if we're not confident, we're scared. It's also like hiking solo or backpacking solo or camping solo, we don't want to be scared the whole time because we are not confident. I think the best way to get confident is to travel with other people. So maybe sign up for a group trip, just like what we offer here at Hike Like a Woman, or travel with a friend or a group of friends or with your family. And then when you're on those trips with a group, maybe try to eat a meal by yourself or go shopping by yourself or spend an afternoon by yourself roaming a new city, or book a solo day trip with a guide just so you can get a little taste of what it feels like to travel on your own. That gives you the chance to learn about yourself, to stretch yourself a little bit, and to decide if you actually really do want to travel solo. And if that's your thing, you'll either know that you're ready to strike out with some solo travel, or you'll feel like, hey, that's maybe just not my thing. So start small and work your way up to big solo adventures. I'm cool with a solo trip for a couple of days, but really I want to be with other people and other people that I know, and I want to enjoy that experience. But some people travel solo for years and years and years, and they love it, and it's all they do. Next, don't overpack, especially if you're traveling solo. Now, I'm totally guilty of overpacking, but every time I do is the time when the hotel doesn't have an elevator, or when the airport doesn't have a little trolley to help me wheel my bags out to a car, or anyone to help me carry my bag. When it comes to packing, I always ask myself this one question: if I forget it, can I buy it where I'm going? The answer is usually yes. Unless, of course, you've been breaking in a very specific pair of hiking boots to wear when you climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Those are just irreplaceable. But yeah, if I run out of underwear, or if I can't do laundry and need a clean shirt to wear home, I can probably buy something no matter where I am in the world. I know that you are an amazing, bright star. I know that you are unique and special and amazing. But this last tip might leave you scratching your head. Here it is. Try not to stand out. It's hard not to stand out when you're traveling internationally. I totally get it. But I always try to keep a low profile and not draw attention to myself when I'm traveling alone. I just try to show confidence and awareness, but I try to be plain with my clothing and minimal with my jewelry. Now, I'm those things at home anyway, so it's not like a big stretch, but I try to tone it down just a little bit. I kind of want to be boring, I kind of want to look boring, and I kind of want to be bland. And I know that not everybody feels that way, and we can definitely talk about this in the comments below, but for me, I just want to blend in. I don't want to stick out. So maybe you want to travel solo, maybe you want to travel with a group. Regardless, hit that subscribe button because I've got a whole lot more travel content coming your way. And while you're at it, check out this video because it's one that YouTube thinks you just might like.